All right, greetings, family. We're here live on Revolutionary Campbell. Money here. I'm here with my wonderful sister, Farah, and we're going to get into some deep conversation based on my sister seeing some of our relationship videos, which I decided to do on a test new Sony 4K camcorder, just to test some projects out. Didn't actually know that we were going to upload them because usually most of the videos we do are in Africa, just to show us in Africa, but it actually worked out perfect because you end up loving some of the energy of the videos. And I wanted you to share some of your perspective on some of the relationship videos that you saw. And the only issue is that I was only able to get brothers to share a certain perspective. So I didn't always have a brave sister like yourself. But you haven't gone to Ghana yet. So, so I wanted to just find out from you, after a brief introduction of yourself, is what are your opinions on those videos, and do you feel that we're doing any kind of male bashing or talking down about Black women in America?
Well, I'm a 45-year-old widow right now. My husband died in May of 2016. I have 4 children. My children are all adults, and I'm a grandmother. So I have a pretty good perspective on relationships. Growing up young, in my younger years, I dated, a few men, and then I got married when I became Muslim. But just to specify, to answer your question about your relationship videos, I think they're positive. I love them. I feel like they're not female bashing at all. I think they're only female bashing if your sense of self as a woman is very frail and very insecure. But then that should be the wake-up call that you need to check yourself, to say, well, is what they're saying bothering me because it's true for me? Or is what they're saying just their opinion and it's what they feel and I could take it or leave it? I feel like if a brother wants to go to Brazil, to Panama, to Ecuador, to Costa Rica, wherever he wants to go, Ghana, wherever, Liberia, if you're not finding what you need here because of the mental illnesses that we have here as women, for the most part, I think women are just as, oh my goodness, can be just as or more devastating than men, in my opinion. I look at what a lot of women are teaching their children, and it's sad. The disrespect level for the Black man, the disrespect level for the family in general, how we're not inculcating, as women, we're not inculcating family values to our children. It's all about getting in and getting out of a relationship, getting out of a relationship what you want and not giving. I think a relationship is about giving, both parties giving and sharing and loving on a higher level than just a physical plane. So I love your videos. If you can't find it here, the world is spacious. The world is yours. Go find what you need. You're not stuck here. You don't have the obligation to be in one particular region. This is just where you were born. You can choose to live anywhere you want, be anywhere you want. And until American women of Muslim faith, Christian faith, Buddhist, Rastafarian, whatever, until we get it together, we don't really have, we shouldn't have a complaint. We should be looking at, well, why are they attracted to these other women? What qualities do I need to, cultivate in myself that would attract my, potential partner here? And then I build and grow from there. That's how I see your videos. I think they're very positive and very important.
I appreciate your energy and you sharing your perspective. One of the things I always wanted to get people to understand is in America, in Black America, I don't really know all these. I'm not one of those people that come up with all these numbers and things, but I want to say we're about anywhere from about 60 to 80 million people. It depends on if the census count us or not, as we talk about on one of our previous conversation. If depends on if if they, if a certain percentage of the of what they call Latinos now is going to be, is take away from the black population or not. Depends on how you add that. Depends on how some people look at themselves. Even the black people that are here, that some black people told me straight up that they're not black, they're not African, and they were, so it's one of those things. So it could be anywhere from 60 to 80 million of us, when you look at it. And then when you look at the actual rest of the black world, it's a billion plus of us as black people. So it's like when people like myself are talking about traveling to Africa, living, doing business, and connecting on relationship and things like that. There's no offense to any black man or any black woman here, And when I talk about how toxic the culture is here in America, and that some of the reasons why we have bad relationships is because you have people from two broken families connecting together, and they're just destroying each other worse. And the system is loving it and enjoying it because the courthouse is jam-packed, the jailhouse is jam-packed, child support office, and altogether this mad chaos that all leads out to resources being sent out to build the system and build America, and build it to where it just keeps on doing the same thing and oppress you. So you're trying to get people to understand that it's a trap that's getting you to suck into buying into that you as a black person can really build certain things and be free in this nation. So we advocate traveling to Africa, living and doing business and many things. That's our company. It's called Africa for the Africans, and it's something. Even when we started, I didn't get the whole gist of all of this energy, but it came from studying about Marcus Garvey, and how Marcus Garvey was one of the small percentage of people who were in Black America at one point that were open to us living, doing business, and building a future in Africa. And it's the same situation now. But when you study and you look at your roots and the history, and you look at different people saying different things, you kind of gear towards certain people. You had advocacy of people that's fighting for civil rights and certain things. And you had so many different things going on. And it's like I'm always saying, where is the push? Where's the fight for Africa, for the Africans? Where's the fight for us to repatriate and build relationships in Africa? Where's the force for us to connect back? So people like myself started just opening up the things I always want to talk about for many years. And, sometimes you feel like, well, you don't want to talk about these things because, people are crazy out there. And then they take your perspective and experience as personal. And most some people don't feel offended by some of the things you're talking about. People like myself, I've been to 30 different countries around the world, 5 different continents, and Brazil makes 6 and 30 something plus countries. And I've been to, and almost all of them, or most of them have been, well, a good percentage of them have been Black nations. And, you learn certain things and you see certain things. You see, and when you meet different Black people from certain parts of the world, you're all saying, well, that person is just like my brothers in Jamaica, or just like my brothers in America. But then you look at certain backgrounds, which are cultural and certain things like that. Why are they so different? So it's the same thing that we talk about on relationships. Some people here, we're not all going to be into the same different things. Right now you have a multitude of madness going on. You have brothers that are looking for white women, looking for Asian women, and different things. So people like myself, thought I was coming to the rescue and say, hey, brothers, at least the best you can do, if you can't find what you're looking for, if things are not working out for you, or if whatever relationship went down a certain way where you just like, I'm not doing this anymore, then please open your mind up to the Black women of the world, Jamaica, Brazil, different parts of the African continent, different parts of Australia. There's plenty of Black women, and the cultural factor and certain things are different, so trying to open up our people's minds to looking at the options of what they have. Who say that all the options for us as a people is here in this America, when everything that we have here is all a trap? So that's all people like us have been talking about, trying to get you out of the box and think. So I just wanted to just clear that up for the folks that are listening, and just, get your perspective.
Yeah, from a woman's perspective, is so true. Everything you're saying is, really well received by me. And, I can't speak for everybody. It's just my opinion. But I think we need to hear it. We need to say it. And how else are we going to correct ourselves? So if you see that you're not meeting the bill, sisters, step up, get yourself together, look at the raping of your mind, the Europeanization of your mind. The standard of beauty, just looking at that, why would a black man want to see a black woman with blonde hair and blue eyes? A black woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. It doesn't even, if phenotypically, it doesn't even match. You know what I mean? Now we know that we have, some parts of the world have black people with natural blonde hair and blue eyes. We know that, but that's not the norm. What we see here is an imitation of the European standard of beauty, and it's not. To me, it's not beautiful. I don't think it's beautiful. I think that a dark-skinned woman with her beautiful natural skin and her beautiful natural hair is beautiful. A dark-skinned man with his beautiful. We're already beautiful. Why are you trying to fix something that doesn't need fixing? And then this takes us away from building, we're putting all of our money into the beauty industry that we make no money from. We make not one penny from it. We're not, you go to any community, and I'm in the South here, like you, every beauty supply store, Korean owned, everywhere. I'm from up north, same thing up north. Koreans own it. It's like, it's the same game no matter where you go. And people just don't see it. It's like, oh my goodness, it's 2017 and we still have to put blonde wigs on, and we still have to lighten your skin. I didn't even know about skin lightening until recently. Like, I didn't know black women do that. Why would you lighten your skin? They're trying to darken theirs, Go to Walgreens or anything, you're going to see a whole wall of tanning products.
Wow.
Who's buying that? It's not, it's a market. They want to look like us. They always have wanted to look like us. Their men want us. Their men feel like men when they have us. But you don't know your power. You don't know the beauty that your skin has. You don't know the beauty that your eyes have. You don't know the wideness of your lips, the fullness of your lips, the wideness of your nose. They want that. This is what they want. They understand the beauty that's in that. And they've always tried to suppress that beauty and turn it around as ugliness, but then they imitate it. Come on. Just look at it. Just open your eyes, And so I want to be very clear that any man, anywhere, if you're not finding it with the sisters, tell the sisters, that are around you what they're doing wrong so they can fix it. But also don't stop yourself from building a nation, like you're saying. We got to build. Eventually we have to build. We can't keep talking about this. It has to be something where you're like, guys, it's either you're coming or you're not. And then when you're ready to come, you join us. That's how I see it at this point. We have too many teachers. Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, oh my goodness, Kwame Nkrumah, right? That's how you say his name. Yes. All of these wonderful leaders who are gone now, of course, but the history is written for us. We're choosing not to read it. We're choosing not to implement this. So, find somebody of like mind. And because that is what it's about. The family is the source of, of course, you worshiping your creator. And then after that, you build a family, so I don't see how you could build a family based on race mixing. I just don't see it. I'm not prejudiced against any race, but I feel like idealistically, especially in the milieu of racism that we're living in, we have to be conscious that our children need strong African families. African conscious families. And I don't see how you could do that with, outside of your race or somebody who hates their race, somebody who hates themselves. Self-hatred is real and self-hatred is very dangerous. You have to address that. So.
Absolutely. And that's why we as a people have to be a great example of things and be a voice for, people who need to just hear different perspective. So In this whole world of consciousness and people knowing about their roots and everything, it's one of those things where you always wondering where's all the brothers and sisters pointing to, hey, let's do this in Africa, hey, let's escape America and do all these things. But even then, you just have people just like into this America, caught up into into this madness. So the relationship videos and these conversations, for me, has always been a way to connect brothers and sisters to Africa, open people mind up. It's never really been about getting into dialogue about who's right or wrong, about who is who's who's worse or better at certain things, and all the things that we just get ourselves caught into. A lot of things can be really just point to based on the system. I do understand that people have to take some level of accountability. At least that's what the system is going to say. Well, we are a messed up system, but I didn't tell you to drink that. Didn't tell you to drink that alcohol and get in that car and drive and run over people. But
you set up everything around the person to make it happen.
Exactly, that's what America is.
Exactly. It's the trap is built around you, but then it's like, I'm not responsible for what you do.
Yeah, so so the same as our relationships are. Is like, why do we have bad relationships? And why do Black people in Africa have? I'm not saying Black people in Africa have perfect relationships, but from my travels to the African continent, it's unbelievable. I was like, this don't make no sense. Especially when I went to places like Kenya, and especially when you go to countries and you're meeting people, and you're just not just there as people think that's all we do. We just do tourism, but at the same time too, if we didn't do the level of tourism we did, no one would even come on the tours and things like that. But what we do is that when we're in countries for, we stay longer, which you always advocate. So you build that experience by being on the ground, being in the country. In 2006, when I first went to Ghana, I stayed back for an additional week, and stayed back with a family, a brother that repatriated, and and then I started looking at different relationships, and I was like, whoa, what is really going on? I was like, and then so it does always points to the culture of things, and so you're always advising Black men and Black women, if you're looking for certain things beyond just the norm, and you're looking for something more cultural or certain things more traditional, like a man or a woman that was raised or taught to have those values that you may have picked up based on the African, based on the culture that we have here as far as our African culture, because some people do pick up certain things, but it's it's not the same as when you're in African continent, because for the most part, when you have issues here, the court system get involved. When you have issues there in the continent, your community get involved, and your community in Africa has your better interest than the system have your interest here in America. So people like myself are always trying to compare certain things, and I'm never always saying that it's perfect in Africa, and I'm not saying that women don't skin bleach and do a bunch of things, because I was listening to somebody's conversation, and they were in one of the videos I was doing about sustainable living and living in Africa versus America, and and the brother was pushing to that point, like we understand that certain things is like people are always trying to trigger back, because they're like, oh my God, the revolution has begun. They're trying to leave America, and it's like, oh my God, man, I just got that 6-figure job. I just got that nice boat, and I got 2 wives now in America, and all kind of the stupid things that people just look at. But it's like you can't just keep on waiting for more and more comfort level of situation. The fact of it is we're having bad relationships based on us being in a culture that a system is set up to where our lives are entrapped, to where it's all about money and who can fight to get custody of the child and put other person on child support, like stupid stuff like that. And like you literally get into a war where you're not. So it's like you're not even thinking about the child's best interest. You're just thinking about what you can get. You can get a hand up on someone and have more power over them.
Exactly.
But in the African community and African culture, when we have family is a little more divine, and you go through a process of marriage, you go through a process of how a community stay and work together. So people like myself is just always really just pointing these things out in dialogue of interviews that I do with brothers that travel back and forth. And it's never to just like say bad things about Black men or Black women. The only thing is that most of the people that have traveled with me that are open to speaking, because or I have access to are none of the brothers that have traveled with me. So I'm always trying to get more sisters to share certain things, but it shouldn't always be about that, you just have to have this amount of brothers and this amount of sister. I'm a person that's always trying to build brotherhood and also build leadership and let our brothers know that we need to band together to do better as men and also help the wounded soldiers, because we have some of them out there that's making us look bad as a people. Like all of us are just terrible deadbeats and things like that, and people like ourselves are, in my family, we're big on family, and, we're looking at moving the generation and connecting them to Africa so they don't have to just grow up into this individual mindset.
Very individualistic here. It's not about it's about me here. And I think I hear you saying, I've never been to Ghana, I can't wait, but it sounds like you're saying it's about we. And that's the difference. And that's what I know. A lot of Africans, like from Africa, I know Liberians, I know Nigerians, I know Cameroonians. I've met so many Africans over the years, and the common thread that they say they don't like about us is, and of course there's exceptions to the rule for us, but generally speaking, American Blacks, is that the women are very domineering and very bossy and very they just are brash, like they're not feminine enough. Like I hear that all the time.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what that word means, but if someone is saying that, then you have to try to put it into perspective. What does that word really mean? Because I've heard it from a few people on our recordings. What do you get from that?
They're saying like the femininity is lost because we've been tailored to not need a man. See what I'm saying? So we're like, oh, I'm good. I don't need a man. I can do everything myself. You know what I'm saying? So it takes away from the femininity of a woman. And I have to say, I agree with that. I really do. I see what they're saying.
Wow.
Because women, when I hear a woman say, I don't hear white women say this. I have to say this. I know they probably feel it because there's so many homosexual white women that I've met over the years. Like they have a high level of homosexual lesbianism. They do. Like they really do. But when I hear an African American, just to be clear, African American woman saying, "Oh, I don't need a man," I'm like, I don't understand what that means. Like
that means she can make children on her own.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, even if you're like middle aged like me, like I have children.
That she can raise that means she can raise children on her own.
Or I think that she's saying, or that they're saying, I'm good without a man, but you're sleeping around. You're sleeping around. You're dating. You're going. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not about marriage and building a family, building a structure, building a community.
And someone replacing men with tools.
Yes, exactly.
And women replacing men with women.
I was about to say, homosexuality is being pushed so much, and I can't just say in our communities. This is a global thing. Yeah.
Everything is a global perspective. It just in some places it's more prevalent because of the lack of culture.
Exactly.
In America, everything is run wild. You can just like bust loose when you're 16 or 18, and then just like get into whatever. There's no, you have no accountability.
Right, and a false sense of freedom. Right, and
a false sense of freedom to just break your life and make the system stronger.
That's it. So I think that women do need to become more feminine. I really, our women, I'm not talking about any other woman. I'm talking about our women, African women, Latino women, Latinas, we do need to become more feminine. We really do. It's the art of femininity is lost.
Wow.
And I really feel that. It's like this, like women want to be dudes, and I'm like, that's not cute. It's not pretty. It's not attractive. So why are you wondering why our men are leaving us to go to the other side, to go across the world? You're not, a man wants a woman. A woman needs a man. I need a man. I don't need a woman. You know what I'm saying? I told, I need a man. That's what I was made for. A man was made for a woman. A woman was made for a man. And that in that we complement each other and we hold each other up and we become like, like a brick wall, helping each other, build that foundation and and stay strong. But without that, I mean, we don't have a dog in the game. We really don't. As African women, we don't, for the most part, we're messy. We're very messy, and we're losing our men, and I'm not surprised. So.
Well, I saw certain things as I was listening to a conversation about something about a wife's school, and I was just like listening. I didn't really just, I was just listening this, and but I think they was using that as the marketing, but it's a system to where kind of into the traditional of where men are taught to be husband and men, and women are taught to be wives and women. That's what they were really just, I think, incorporating and marketing. But sometimes people look at one word and they just overlook it, or they look at the first set of words in a sentence, and then their mind trigger on the defense mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some of the videos, it's hard to title them because it's like, well, if I title it this way, but it's like, that's what we're talking about.
Right. This is the subject matter.
It's the same subject, but it's a different perspective based on just our values and our connections in Africa and the things that people like myself are into. So someone like myself can have the same title as another, black man or black woman on YouTube, and then it's a different outlet as far as content. And we always want to differentiate ourselves, because most of what I deal with is based on our global experience of traveling and all the multitudes of people that I know all over around the world outside of America. And it's like, it'll be a shame for me to just only put things in the context of being in America in this minority population of black folks in the world.
Exactly.
And not just, opening up to where it's the fullness of us. Even when I talk about Africans in the diaspora and Africans on the continent, it segregates two different groups of black folks, but it doesn't shrink down our numbers. It still shows us as strong. It does show us that some of us are in Africa and some of us are outside of Africa, but we're all African people.
Exactly. We're one. We are one. I am Africa.
You just been cheesing and smiling like all day. How do you keep up with that smile?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just happy to be talking to you. I don't think about my smile. I'm just happy. I really am. For the most part, I just, am at this point in my life, after seeing my husband go so quickly, so rapidly one morning, it was just like, I've realized he didn't get to do those things that he planned with me. And so I'm like, whatever time I have to use it to the best of my ability. And that was kind of what gave me the courage to reach out to you. And I said, I want to connect with this man, and I want to be part of what he's doing. And that's what I did. And so I'm just so happy to be sitting and talking with you. So that's why it's really cheesy.
And I appreciate your energy, giving us a conscious feedback. A lot of times I tell people that, I'm a person that, I'm like a straight, serious, hardcore business person, a person that would just lay down for 2 hours and get back to work and keep it going for a 24/7 period of time for months, and out there driving around doing this, flying on planes, coming back. But I'm dedicated to our uplifting, and I want to be a part of that representation of the mindset of people that Garvey wanted to influence, because he knew that he would never accomplish all the things that he wanted to accomplish in a lifetime. And then make a commitment to doing that segment of it. It's not the easiest thing, but it's something that we feel like we can do. And then the fact we're in the 21st century of YouTube and video documentation, it's, we just feel it's only right to share our life and our story as far as repatriation, relationships, and the way we see certain things, to also give views to other people who are just looking for something different. It's terrible if you wake up one morning and all you see is just everything that you need is just built already, and everything is just, everything is there. It's, it's hard to just really just know what to do. Or if you just look at this like, oh my God, I live in America. Why do I want to go anywhere else? America has everything. They got resorts in Florida. They got skiing in the cold part of America when it gets cold. And they have they have this, they have that. yeah, yeah, realistically, I can't think of anything America doesn't have other than just a real organized culture that want to see actual people live and be free and be incorporated into a free society. That's probably the only thing they don't have, and they'll probably never have it, because your goal is not to be free here. Your goal is to be a slave. Your goal is to have slave relationships. When you're making children, your goal is to send them out on the plantation so they can work in the fields, work in the system. And I hope I'm not killing people with that, but it's like, some of us, that's one of the biggest issues. Some of us don't know that we're slaves on a plantation, so we act different. If I feel like more of us knew and really understand that we're slaves on the plantation, would make a better effort to really just change some of the things that we do, and also just really just open to that connection in Africa. So it's a shame when people talk about, I'm not African, I'm not into Africa, I'm not into, what's the Africa stuff about. I enjoy my business folks and people I do things with that are out there marketing our business and sharing information. They usually give me some great feedbacks. As far as, our people are still crazy when they share a postcard with them about Africa, and people don't even look at information. They just like, and I feel like we present Africa in like a Disney World atmosphere. Not saying that is just all that, but the organization level and the level of this giving you the best and level of this really connecting you with you. So we just, I feel like if we're going to do anything, we need to do it on a top level to where we get more of our people attention. So I just really appreciate all of our brothers and sisters that have basically made us basically told us that we're not crazy and to keep the energy going on what we're doing. Thank you for your energy and support. And, definitely link us on the GoFundMe so we can build this repatriation energy there in Ghana, so we can be there to support more people returning. And also just subscribe to the YouTube pages and just keep on connecting with us. And our goal is to share a lifetime of documentation on the platforms that we have, especially the website, as far as our journey from the 2004 of the first time traveling to Africa to eventually coming up with the ultimate plan to where we can get into the development projects all over the continent, and be a part of that future growth, and not have the Chinese and the Japanese and the Indians have all of the fun. My sister, you want to say anything last on our relationships before we close, or any encouragement you have for the brothers, and then any encouragement you have for the sisters, so people don't think that we're one-sided?
So encouragement for the brothers is, tell us the mistakes that we're making as African women. Don't just leave the sisters hanging here. If you're tired of the African American sister, let her know why, so she understands, like, this is where you lost me and this is what you could have done to keep me. And then the sisters be reciprocate. How do you say that word? Reciprocate. Yeah. Well, receive it well. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Receive it well. Be open to constructive criticism, because the first part of that word, that those two words, is constructive. So you want to build from there. The purpose of receiving constructive criticism is to be able to build something from that criticism that you received. So it's not a negative thing. So if I'm harsh and brash and unfeminine, let me know. Tell me so I can fix it. And then we can start building dialogues and building networking of, building networks for couples and for families. And like you said, white school and all of that. That sounds great. But we have to communicate with each other. So don't abandon each other, but communicate. And then, if you have to take it, outside, I totally understand. Totally get it. We can't be mad at you. Can't be mad at you.
Absolutely. And my sister, really appreciate your energy and everything. And we're going to keep it strong. And we're going to see you in the motherland in December,
I'm working on it.
Or somewhere in the future in Ghana, as we connect you and many of our other African Latino brothers and sisters to the motherland, and definitely appreciate you representing and letting our brothers and sisters know that that is not an English thing. It doesn't have to speak Spanish, Portuguese, or so. If you're Black, it's about that African reconnection.
That's right.
Like myself is available, family, to connect with. So my sister, we'll definitely connect back again. I feel like we have a lot to talk about there.
Me too. Me too. I feel the same way. Thank you so much, Bomani. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. You take care.
Okay, you too.
Family, the journey continues.